I think verse 16. Okay. Just a second. So we'll chant a Mangalacharan. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishya Shunyavadi Pashyati Adesatharine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Right.
So we were on chapter 7. So we have been in chapter 7 where we have seen as of now until verse number 15 or 16. We started actually last week as well. In chapter 7, we have seen how Krishna says that I will give you the knowledge. By this knowledge, nothing else would remain for you to know. So this knowledge, Krishna told, I'll give you the jnana as well as vijnana. Both knowledge will be given. And then after that, we have seen how this rarity of this realized knowledge, Krishna says in third verse that out of many, many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and out of many, many of those get perfected or achieve perfection, barely anyone, hardly anyone knows me in truth. Right? And then we have seen about Krishna's different energies. Krishna talks about two energies as of now. His aparasakti and parasakti. So 5 Panchamahabhut and Manbhut Ankar. These are Krishna's aparasakti or Maya Sakti. And then Krishna says that there is a living entity who is parasakti, who is eternal. That's land. And also we discussed that living entity is actually trying to exploit this material nature. Right. So after that, Krishna also says that after describing his energies, Krishna says in verse 7 that Mataha Paratram Ananyat. So Krishna says nothing is beyond me. As if like, and Krishna says everything is bound as if like the pearls are strung in a thread. Right. Mai Sarvam Idam Proptam. Krishna says I'm everywhere. As if Sutre Manigana Eva. So as the thread binds the pearls and it becomes a necklace, in a similar way, Krishna's energy actually binding this whole cosmos, even a spiritual as well as material. Right? We see how this planets revolve around in a very nice orbit. Sun comes at very day and it provides the sunshine. The moon comes and it provides this juices to the fruits and vegetables. So everything is the air, the breathing process happening automatically. It's like this kind of energies Krishna is giving us, by which, and Krishna says, I'm actually the real maintainer of everything, right? And nothing is beyond it. And also then Krishna says about these 3 modes, which is very, very difficult to cross over. But Krishna says anyone who takes my shelter, he can cross it very easily. After that, also we have discussed about how Krishna is all pervasive in very, very different ways. Like, Krishna says, I'm the taste of water, I'm the light of sun and moon, I'm the syllable Om, I'm the strength, I'm the intelligence, I'm the power and everything, right? And then after discussing that, we went through discussing about a very important thing that Krishna says that Krishna is beyond the 3 modes. So though these 3 modes are the energy of Krishna, external energy of Krishna, but Krishna is aloof of those. Krishna is not being entangled by these 3 modes. We conditioned living beings are entangled by these modes, but Krishna is not. Krishna is aloof of it. All right. And then we discussed a very, very important point where Krishna says, actually he talks about, let me share the screen from there, we can continue. Hope you can see my screen. We were on text 13.
Yes, Prabhuji. Perfectly. This is the right size font. What size is that one, Prabhuji?
I think I've zoomed it for twice.
Okay, no, that's just the right size for me without glasses.
Yes, the 14th verse actually gives the solution how to cross over this material nature, right? Or these three modes. He says, Devi Hirsha Gunamayi Ma Maya Durutyaya. See, very difficult to cross over this Gunamayi, Krishna's energies, three modes of energy, material nature, right? Because these are transcendental as well. Because these are Krishna's energy, so are transcendental, and it's very difficult to cross over. However, Krishna says, Mam eva prapadante mayam etam tarantite. So anyone who takes shelter of Krishna can cross over it very easily. Right? That we discussed elaborately in our last session. And also we discussed this 15th verse. 15th verse, again, he says, so if the solution is to surrender to Krishna, then why people do not surrender to Krishna? And Krishna says in text 15 that Namam Duskritino Mudha Prapadante Naradhama Maya Pratyajnana Ashrambhavam Ashrita. The four kinds of people who do not surrender to Krishna. Who are those? Those are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. People may sometimes say they are very knowledgeous, but still they are being the real knowledge is being stolen by illusion, right? And then who partake in the aesthetic nature of demons, or this Asuram Bhamashrita. These four people, they do not surrender to Krishna. Till that we have discussed, and I think I've requested you all to read this purport, a nice purpose given for each words and very elaborately, right? So let's try to go ahead now, where Krishna says that there are four kinds of people who surrender to me. I think we have just read the verse in our last session. Today we'll continue discussing this meaning as well. Okay. So here Krishna is going to speak about this four kinds of people, four category of people who take shelter of Krishna. It might not be pure devotion, but they take shelter of Krishna. So four people who doesn't take shelter of Krishna, and now in text 16 he says four kind of people who take shelter of Krishna. Let's see it. Shaturvida bhajante maham jana sukritino arjuna artho jigyasur artharthi jnani cha Bhāratas. So in text 15 Krishna says duskritino, so people who are miscreant, they do not take shelter of Krishna, but people who are sukritino, right, who are pious, they take shelter of Krishna. What are those? Chaturvija, four kinds of people. They bhajante mam, they render services to Krishna. Who are those? Artho, Jigyasu, Artharthi, Jnani. These are the four kind of people who take shelter of Krishna. What are those? Let's see one by one. Let's read it. But O best among the Bhāratas, four kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the absolute. So four kind of people. Very first he says distressed, right? Who is basically artha. When we are completely distressed, we take shelter. And the very best example of this is it comes from Srimad Bhagavatam is Gajendra. Gajendra, though he was in animal body as elephant, however, when he was in completely distress, and he knew very well that now my family members or even anyone, they are not able to help me out. And then he remembered his previous lives, and he could remember his one prayer and actually prays to Lord Krishna. And he says, okay, you are the only one who can actually save me out from danger. And Krishna comes in his Garuda and saved him. So that's how in distress, the first category of the people who take shelter of Krishna in distress. And then second is the desire of wealth. So distress is the lowest one. And I mean, anyway, if you see in the next other verses, Krishna says all are magnanimous. So all are very wonderful devotees anyway. Even the distress or the desire of wealth or the inquisitive or who is searching for knowledge of the absolute. So all four are very good, but still there is the one who is higher. Right? So higher than the distress is the desire of wealth, where he sent it to Krishna and he asked for some his own money and have fulfilled his desires, right? And then higher than is inquisitive, who inquires, who is God, who am I, kind of things. And then the last one, the fourth one, who is searching for the knowledge of absolute. So that's how it's called Artho, Jigyasur, Artharthi, Jnani. These are the four kind of people who take shelter of Krishna. And let's see what Prabhupada says in the purport. He says, unlike the miscreants, there are adherents of the regulative principles of scriptures, and they are called Sukritina, or those who obey rules and regulations of the scriptures, the moral and the social laws, and are more or less devoted to Supreme Lord. And out of these four classes of men, those who are sometimes distressed, those who are in need in money, those who are sometimes inquisitive, and those who are sometimes searching after knowledge of the absolute truth. So Prabhupada always used words sometimes. So it means what? When the person is distressed, he goes to the Lord, fulfills his desire, and then come back again. He again start engaging himself in his own activities. Right? He's no more again thinking about doing service to Lord. That's why Prabhupada says sometimes. And sometimes when a person is in need of money, he goes to Lord. One says money is being fulfilled. Okay, I'm searching for a good job. Once a person has got a good job, then okay, I'll go to God again when I need some more job. Like, I remember when we were students, right? We used to go to temple just before results comes out. Okay, Lord, please make me pass, right? So that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then there's some people who are inquisitive, right? So, however, Prabhupada mentions about pure devotional service. He says, though these four are good, at least somehow or other we are taking shelter of Krishna. That's good, but we need to take a next step, higher step as well. So Prabhupada says these persons come to Supreme Lord for devotional service under different conditions. They are not coming to devotional service for loving Lord, right? This is not pure devotee. They haven't come to actually revive the relationship with Krishna, not for understanding Krishna and paying obeisance in respect. Though that respect is there, but in respect in terms of love for Lord, right? But they are coming to fulfill their own different desires, or you can say different conditions. And hence, these are not pure devotees because they have some aspiration to fulfill in exchange for devotional service. They come, they offer obeisances, and they do as prescribed by things, and as soon as their their desires are fulfilled, they forget for some time, and again when they remember, okay, I need to go, they do it. However, Prabhupada explains about what is pure devotional service. He says pure devotional service is without aspiration and without desire for material profit. See, even in Bhagavatam, it's also said that even if we have desire, then also it is good to take shelter of Krishna rather than going towards any other Devis and Devatas to fulfill desires. We'll see it in coming verses from, I think, from 18-19. Krishna is going to speak about that, about worshipping the Devatas, right? So it says, Bhagavatam, akama sarva kama va moksha kama udaradi tibrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. So even if akama, if there is no desire, or akama sarva kama va, even if you're full of desires, or if you want moksha, either you have desire or you don't have any desire, or you want moksha, in any conditions, yajate purusham param, with full determination. Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udaradi tibrena bhakti yogena, with full determination. What you do bhakti yoga. Of whom? Yajate purusham param. Who's purusham? Param purusha? Krishna. So take shelter of Krishna even if you have desire, because the reason why it's being said that when you take shelter of Krishna with desire, Krishna fulfill our desire. However, at the same time, he also take out the seed of desires as well. That's very important. But whenever we try to fulfill our desires through devatas, we might or might not get the desired results, but still the desire to have more things, the seed still remain there. But Krishna takes that seed from heart as well when he fulfills our desire, right? So I propose quotes from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu about pure devotional service. What is that? Anya vilasita sunyam jnana karma adi anavratam anukulena krishnanu silanam bhakti uttama. What is Uttam Bhakti? So you might know this is basically a very nice class for devotional, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, where it says Silana Bhaktir Uttama. It means, it says Bhaktir Uttama, so Bhakti can be Adhama as well. As word has been said, Bhaktir Uttama means Uttam Bhakti. It means what? Bhakti can be Adhama as well. So like these bhaktis, having a desire, fulfill our desire, and we do bhakti. That is not a good or prescribed bhakti, because we are dealing with Krishna with some exchange. We want something, so only we are serving him. Anyway, that's good. Rather than being atheist, it's good to take shelter, but that's not the best one. We're good, better, best. So something is higher. Uttama is there. Uttama is there. So let's read verses. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitful activities or philosophical speculation. That is pure devotional service, right? And if you see, even Bhagavatam also says, I think it's there in this verse as well. No, it also says, Save pom sam paro dharmo yato bhakti adokshaje ahetuki apratihata yatma suprasiddhati. Ahetuki and apratihata, uninterrupted and unmotivated. That is called as pure devotional service. So unmotivated, I do not have any desire, but I am worshipping you with love and devotion. Right, so that's a pure devotional service. However, the verse Krishna explains here, there's 4 kinds of people who take shelter of Krishna, but we understood that these are not the pure devotees, but it's better than the 4 types of people who do not surrender to Krishna, the previous verses we says, right? So it's good to take shelter of Krishna, and we'll see what the best one is to be in pure devotional service. So Prabhupada continues that when these 4 kinds of persons come to Supreme Lord for devotional service and are completely purified by association of pure devotees, they become pure devotees. So it means what? At least it's better that you associate with the Lord, and then we can come in contact with Lord. We do some devotional service. We actually get purified gradually when we associate with the devotees as well. Right. So when we associate with pure devotees, we get purified, then also we become pure devotees as well at some point of time. And hence it is better than the 4 who doesn't surrender to Krishna. And Prabhupada also says that as far as the miscreant, the text 15 verses are concerned, for them devotional service is very, very difficult because their lives are selfish, irregular, and without spiritual goal. So these 4 people, sometime they elevate higher, but the previous 4 who are actually do not surrender to Krishna, there is no chance for them. Maybe the chance can come, but it's become very difficult for them to elevate, because they are animalistic, kind of fool, mudha, and naradhama, maya pratyajnana, whose intelligence are being stolen by this maya sakti, and they take shelter of demons. So these kind of people, it's become very difficult for them to elevate, right? So that's 4 part is 16, and even in 16 also there are a couple of things I want to talk about. As here we see about bhaktir uttama, isn't it? So uttama bhakti. So there are you can say as in it's noted by this book by Varanglashan Prabhu. He says there are types of bhakti which again described in this chapter 7, chapter 12, that one is kevala bhakti. So kevala bhakti means what? pure devotional service. So there is exchange of loving relationship. There is no exchange, there is no means for any fulfillment of desire. If anything comes, it's Krishna's mercy. If anything goes away, that's also Krishna's mercy. I don't have to deal anything about this. I am just loving Krishna, worshipping Krishna, taking his name just for loving him with love and devotion. That's Kevala Bhakti. That's called as Ahituki Apratiyata, uninterrupted and unmotivated. The motivation is only to serve Krishna. That's Kevala Bhakti. And we'll see it. There are so many references coming in this from chapter 7 to chapter 12, the Bhakti section. And then there is called as Mishra Bhakti. Mishra Bhakti is not, Mishra Bhakti is, I have some desires, but still I'm doing Bhakti as well. That's called Mishra Bhakti. And in this, there are two Bhaktis called as Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti and Guni Bhuta Bhakti. So Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti says a bhakti mixed with tendency for karma, jnana or yoga. However, in this case, bhakti is more prominent than the other desires. So desire is there, desire for kama, my fulfilling of desire for knowledge and jnana, and desire for yogic mystic powers. That's there, but bhakti is superior. If you say bhakti is 50% or more than 50%, maybe 60-70%, and others, my desires are there. As we are in living entities, we have some desires, so desires are there, still there, but bhakti is more prominent in that. And in Guni Bhuta Bhakti, it's also the mixture of kama, jnana, yoga with bhakti. However, in this case, bhakti is lesser than 50%. Just for example, it's lesser than kama. There's more desire to fulfill, so I'm doing bhakti as well. Right. So these are three stages of bhakti. Kevala Bhakti is unalloyed devotional service where completely fully surrendered to Krishna and not at all thinking about material things. It's only about spiritual things. And Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti and Guni Bhuta Bhakti, where we have mixed bhakti or we have desires as well. It means sometimes says that Mishra Bhaktas are like the Devatas Indra. Indra has a desire to rule the kingdom, but he has taken shelter at lotus feet of Krishna. So that's we can say as Mishra Bhakti. Bhakti is there, desire is there, but I'm taking shelter of Krishna. Right. And let's see text 17. Krishna again going to elaborate from this verse again about this 4 verse, text 16, about 4 people or 4 kinds of people who take shelter of Krishna. And here in text 17, Krishna says or prominently says, who is better than these 4? I mean, who is better? Text 17. Tesham jnani nitya yukta eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnani no tartham aham sa cha mama priya. Priyo hi jnani no tartham aham sa cha mama priya. Krishna is saying that of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. And I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. So even if in these 4 cases, when if someone is distressed and goes to Krishna, when one has a desire for money, artha, he goes to Krishna. When one is inquisitive and one is searching for truth, even in his core categories, he says one who is in full knowledge of Krishna, there's basically the last one who is inquisitive to understand about the supreme truth, right? So that is and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. And what happens? That kind of devotee who is dear to me, also I am dear to him. He's very dear to me, and I am also very dear to him as well. Right. So when we perform devotional service, is actually Krishna. We love Krishna, and Krishna also reciprocate by loving us. Right. And if you see, I think Prabhupada mentions here in next verse, I guess. Yes, it's in next verse. Prabhupada mentioned that from 9th canto. So let's see it a bit. So what says Prabhupada that in the purport, free from all contamination of the material desires, the distress, the inquisitive, the penniless, and the seeker after supreme knowledge can all become pure devotees. So the all other fours who were the Mudha, Naradhama, and Amaya, Pratagyana, and Ashram Bhamashita, these four people, they have very difficult or difficult chances to become a devotee. But these four who are having a desire of money or fulfill desire or in distress or inquisitive, right, they can become pure devotees. However, but out of them, he who is in knowledge of absolute truth and free from all material desires becomes a really pure devotee of the Lord. So the real essence is to search the absolute truth, to love him with pure devotion. Right. So that's how Krishna mentioned that he is dear to me. Krishna is dear to him, and he also dear to me. Right. So just after that, in 18th verse, I think we have something. Yes, Prabhupada also says that the knowledge, like the people who are searching for knowledge, he says by searching after knowledge, one realizes that his self is different from his material body. It means he understands who am I am not this body. He is spiritual spark. And when after understanding who am I'm not this body, then he further advances and he comes to knowledge of the impersonal Brahman and Paramatma. He understands about the effulgence of Lord and also Paramatma sitting within the heart. Right. And furthermore, when one is fully purified, so purification happening what? At least when we went to do some service to Lord Krishna, purification started. And when we get more purified, we understand this, that I am not his body, I am the spirit soul. And then when we get more purified, we advance more and we have the knowledge of Brahman and Paramatma, who is what is Brahman and what is Paramatma. And then one becomes fully purified, he realizes that his constitutional position is to be eternal servant of the God. Ekela Ekela Krishna Arashava Bhritya. So there is only one supreme master and everyone is his servant. So we need to, this is the final understanding of when one is purely purified. He says he realizes that his position is to be eternal servant of God. So what is that? Gopi Bharto Padakamalu Dasa Dasa Das. So Gopi Bharta means the master of the gopis. His lotus feet servants of servants of servant. That's our real position. So to become the servant of Krishna, to become the servant of his devotees, to become the servant of his devotees of devotees, that is the real position of our of the living entity, right? So hence, so by association with the pure devotees, the inquisitive, the distressed, the seeker of material amelioration, and the man in knowledge all become themselves pure. So it's like Chintamani, right? When you get association of the devotees, you start getting purification and becomes pure as well, right? You know, the Chintamani stone, if any iron comes in contact with that, the iron becomes gold, isn't it? So that's how when we associate with the pure devotees, our consciousness get purified. We take our own self to the next step, and next step, and next step, and one day we become pure as well. Right. So let's see text 18. Text 18. After explaining these two verses, 16 and 17, Krishna says about four types of people who surrender to Krishna, and then the one who is very dear, who is actually in complete knowledge of Krishna and perform devotional service. And the 18th verse says, everyone is actually magnanimous. So everyone is magnanimous, right? Let's see what Krishna says. Udara sarva evaite jnani tu atma eva me matam ashita sahi yuktatma mam evanuttama gatim. All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous. So see this all four categories, right? Even is just imagine how merciful Krishna is. Even someone is in distress, even someone is desire of wealth, even someone is inquisitive, approaches Krishna, please help me out. And Krishna is saying, wow, you are a magnam in a soul. Can you imagine it? He's not saying, okay, go away here, come for money, go away. No, it's not like that. Krishna is saying, you are magnam in a soul. But he is situated in knowledge of me, I consider to be just like my own self. So Krishna says everyone is very good, but the one who actually thinking of me is actually more dear to me, right? So you can say it in example, how we can say that, oh, as Krishna says everyone is magnanimous, but he's saying the one who is in knowledge of me is dear to me. We'll try to understand with a small example, right? And then Krishna says, being engaged in my transcendental service, he is sure to attain me, the highest and most perfect goal. So all the four stages, the people, they are all good. They are doing very well. However, who is in complete knowledge of Krishna, he actually becomes eligible to get the highest or perfect goal. So the question comes here is that if everyone is all good, then why Krishna is saying, okay, the one who is in knowledge of me is as if like my own, right? Someone is unmuted. Okay, so let's see it, what it says. Just for example, let's suppose there are so many kids playing in a park, right? Just for example, in a family gathering. In a family gathering, we have 5-10 families, and all the kids they are actually playing with each other. So at that time, when the kids are playing, all the parents they see in the same vision for everyone, isn't it? But as soon as someone get hurt, everyone will get hurt as well. However, the parents of the person, the child gets more hurt, isn't it? He actually runs more. Everyone runs, but the child actually goes to his or her parents. In a similar way, these all four categories are actually undoubtedly magnum in a soul. However, the one who is situated in knowledge of Krishna thinks himself the other one as is as well. And Prabhupada quote this Srimad Bhagavatam verse to emphasize more on this point. So let's see what Prabhupada says here. So it is not that the devotee who are less complete in knowledge are not dear to the Lord, right? The Lord says that all are magnanimous because anyone who come to the Lord for any purpose is called Mahatma, the great soul. See how merciful Krishna is, isn't it? Anyone comes for any purpose to Krishna, he is a great soul, he is a Mahatma. And the devotee who wants some benefit out of a devotional service are accepted by the Lord because there is an exchange of affection. And out of affection, they ask the Lord for some material benefit. And when they get it, they become so satisfied, they also advance in devotional service. As I said, Krishna fulfills our desire. At the same time, he approves the material desires, and actually in this way, we advance in our devotional service. But the devotee in full knowledge is considered to be very dear to the Lord because his only purpose is to serve the Lord with love and devotion. He has no desire for any material things, any material benefits, and hence he is more dear to Krishna. So it's again a gradual process, isn't it? Earlier we were discussing about the ladder of yoga. One who is atheist is actually on the very, very lowest, is living animals life. And then one who is on the platform of karma kanda, worshipping for some material desires. And then of that we see is in a karma yoga. Even in karma yoga, there is niskam karma yoga and sakam karma yoga. And above that is jnana yoga. And jnana yoga, and above that is bhakti yoga. In a similar way, this category happens that the one who is actually loving the Lord with full love and devotion is very dear to Krishna. And such a devotee cannot live a second without contacting or serving the Supreme Lord. So that is the highest or pure devotional service. And Prabhupada mentions Srimad Bhagavatam verse that sadhavo hridayam mahyam, and sadhunam hridayam tvaham. Mad yannet tena jananti naham tebhyo naga api managa api. It says, the devotees who are always in my heart, and I am always in their heart of the devotees. Right? So sadhava hridayam mayam. So I am in the heart of the sadhus, the devotees, and sadhu nam hridayam to aham. So I am also in the heart of the devotees, and devotees are all in my heart as well. And they do not know anything except me, and also the same happens to me. And the devotees does not know anything beyond me, and I also cannot forget the devotees. This is kind of reciprocation by Krishna. So there is a very intimate relationship between me and pure devotees, and pure devotees in full knowledge are never out of spiritual touch, and therefore they are very dear to me. Right? So that's how Krishna says that all the four are good. However, anyone who actually takes a higher step, understanding me, worshipping me with full devotion and love, is the pure one, and is very dear to me. And I dwells in his heart, because in their heart I dwells. So the devotee also dwells in Krishna's heart. Right? If you remember the pastimes of Lord Hanuman, Lord Hanuman is a very, 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 very dearest devotee of Lord Rama. And if you see the many pictures, we've seen this, Hanuman's in the heart, we see the Lord Rama as well. Right? So, and what's the time? Is 42. Okay. I'm thinking, shall we take this 19? Okay, let's take the 19 one. Because that will complete this one section. Then from 20 we'll start another section. So how to be that Mahatma, where Krishna says that the one is very, very dear to me, isn't it? The one who is in knowledge of me is very dear to me. And how rare it is, let's say it in the text 19, it's very, 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 very rare. Right? So earlier you have seen one of the rare, this Manushyanam Sastestu Kaschinate Siddhe and Yatatam Visadhanam Kaschin Mam Vit Tatvata. In text 3, in chapter 7, Krishna says that many thousands of people, they endeavor for perfection, and the one who has achieved perfection, barely they know me in complete truth. Isn't it? That's also very rare to how to know Krishna. And Krishna is going to say again in the same way in text 19 that Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanvan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So earlier you have seen this four are also called as Mahatma. Prabhupada says that all four are magnanimous souls. However, Vasudevan Sarvamiti, right? So who then again comes the same thing, that Sarvamiti means everything is Krishna, everything is Vasudeva. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. The one who understands that everything is Krishna, that is Sudurlabha, as very, very rare. And how he achieves is a Bahunam Janmanam Ante, by taking many birth. After many birth, acquiring many knowledge about me, Jnanvan Mam Prapadyate. So after many birth, when someone comes in knowledge, proper knowledge, then only he surrendered to Krishna, and that person is very, very Durlabha. Right? Let's see. So after many birth and death, he who is actually in knowledge sends unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and that it is. Such a great soul is very rare. These are the words of Krishna, right? So nothing changed here. So Krishna is clearly saying that we go on many birth, understanding things, getting knowledge, and that knowledge comes again, we get Sukruti, and then in the next life we practice again, and many lives we spend, and then we come into the point where we understand and surrender to Krishna by that knowledge, and that person is Sudurlava, and there is also Mahatma. That person is a great soul and also very, very rare. Right? So you all can imagine how rare it is to take shelter of Krishna. Right? So the living entity, while executing devotional service or transcendental rituals after many births, may actually become situated in transcendental pure knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of spiritual realization. So if you remember, already we are talking about the 3 stages of self-realization or God realization. One is impersonal Brahman, and then is Paramatma, and then is Supreme Absolute Truth, Bhagavan, Krishna. So to take to the ultimate goal, it takes many lifetime as well, right? So just imagine how rare it is to take shelter of Krishna. And once, it also says, I was hearing a lecture today in the morning, anyway, it was from Bhagavatam, but they described that, I think it was Amarendra Prabhu who was describing nicely that when we get this human form of life, human birth, we should not waste this human birth. He gave a very nice examples to understand how rarity it is. That's, for example, now someone is playing this, this what he says, this snake and ladder game, right? And you are on 98, and you all know that on 99 there is a snake, and if you get one, if the snake bites, it doesn't bite, but in the game is, then you actually come to very lower position, like 2, 3 or somewhere, isn't it? You come over there. So he says, once we have been revolving in this birth cycle for many years, many lifetimes we have spent in many different spaces, and now we have got this human life, that is 98. If we can jump 99 and cross to 800, we can win the game. We can actually go to spiritual world. However, if you do not use our human birth and go to 99, the snake bites and we come back again to 2, 3, 4 or whatever it is. I mean, we give up this human birth and again take this birth of any different species, like 8.4 million species. Like, maybe we can go into any birds, beasts, animal, trees, other birth or other bodies. It's not very wise, isn't it? So also his Bhagavatam says, Durlabho Manaso Deho Dehinam Chana Bhangura. So Durlabho Manaso Deho. So this human body or birth is very Durlabha, very rare. And Durlabho Manaso Deho Dehinam Chana Bhangura. And this Deha can be taken away at any point of time. No one knows. By the blink of eyes, the body can be left. So Durlabho Manaso Deho Dehinam Chana Bhangura. Tatrapi Durlabham Manne Vaikuntha Priya Darsanam. Even in those, the human birth is rare and this birth can be taken away at any point of time. Still, the rarest is what? Vaikuntha Priya Darsanam. So the association of devotees is again rarest thing, right? And again, that's even Krishna says in this verse, isn't it? He says that Vasudevam Sarvamiti means what? Understanding that everything is Krishna, the source, the maintainer, and the creation and destruction, everything is the Krishna, cause of all causes is Krishna. That Mahatma is Sudurlabha. So that's very rare. So I think that's we'll stop here. Anyone have any questions or thoughts? Please, we can discuss on. Okay, if there's nothing, and we can stop here and we'll do our Narsimha prayer. Okay. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki
Jai.